Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Ivan Oberon's Success Series webinars, where we'll be discussing different success principles of an entrepreneur, as well as talking about bird dogging and deal structures and different strategies and different things that come up. But I wanted to make these webinars really more about entrepreneurship. The more and more we got moving forward, and the more and more we talk to people and engage with other people and across social media and public events and things of that nature, started realizing, by and large, what we're really teaching, what we're really engaging with people on is entrepreneurship. You know, real estate, since that's our primary strategy, that's kind of a byproduct of being an entrepreneur and learning the things that it takes to be an entrepreneur. Can everybody be an entrepreneur? Is everybody wired for that? And getting people in the right mindset so that you can succeed in any field that you're in, because there's people out there we have found that they don't want to quit their jobs. They don't hate their day jobs like many people do. They're not looking to real estate as a escape, so to speak, from their day jobs. They just want to do better. They want to be better at their jobs. They want to get up to that 20% 10% range of the top people in their particular industry. But they also want to do some real estate on the side, and they want to add that to their tool belt of income generating tools, so to speak. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on in all these webinars. And we are already on May the 8th, man. And let me tell you, May is going to be a busy month for me. I don't know about you guys, but I already spent a week in Kansas City, Missouri. Came back. I was going to celebrate my birthday, which was on April 30th. Didn't do that. I was away. So they did celebrate for me a little bit there in Kansas City. So I was very grateful for that. But didn't really get the chance to do it with my family, and we were going to do it on the weekend of the 3rd, but I ended up staying an extra day for business, and that didn't happen. And now we're celebrating my mom's birthday and my wife's birthday and my sister's birthday and one of my best friend's birthdays and Mother's Day, and there's holidays, and I mean, man, this is just a crazy month and a crazy time of the year. But it's good because a lot of positive things are also happening, and so we're excited about that, and we'll talk about that as we go on and progress in these coming weeks and months, because there's a lot of opportunities. Anything that we get involved in, there's going to be opportunities for you, our listeners and our followers, and whether you're on the radio or on social media or listening to these podcasts or here on this webinar. We want to be able to extend all those things to you and add value to your lives. And that's really what we're about. So I hope you're doing well. Tonight we're not going to go very long, maybe about a half hour, because I also have both of my daughters' spring performance at school, which starts pretty soon. So, but what I do want to talk about tonight, because I get a question pretty often, as far as how did you get started, what did you do, what can I do, etc., etc. Is there a magic formula or pill, or did you just make a bunch of offers, or what it is? And so tonight's webinar, I'm going to title 4 ways to add value to people. And the reason that I came up with this, and I feel that it's a good topic for you guys to focus on, is because that ends up being my answer, my go-to answer when people ask me, how did you get started? How did you start doing deals? What did you do? Etc., etc. Is I found a way to add value to others. So instead of going out there with my hand out and figuring out what everybody can do for me, I found a way to create value for my investors, and therefore also create value to other people that I was working with. And I did that by being able to bring something to the table. And just as a quick side note, a quick story, the reason I did that, or the way that I did that, is after I focused primarily on my education and developing the belief that yes, this was for me, this is my path, this is what's going to allow me to create that lifestyle that I want for my family. It is going to allow me to break away from the current job that I was in, the position that I was in, and granted, I was in it for nearly 10 years before I resigned. It is going to be able to give my legacy for my family. And so I had that belief and that excitement and that conviction that this was it. And then I combined that with my education and understanding the process, understanding the specific strategy that I was focusing on at the time, which was the fix and flip model. And as you all know, there are dozens of strategies in real estate that you can get involved in, and sometimes we make the mistake of starting in one path and then seeing some other shiny new thing and then starting down that path and then seeing some other new shiny thing and starting down that path before we ever really focus primarily on a specific strategy, becoming successful, having some wins behind us, and then start branching out before we get too diluted into a bunch of different things. So anyway, so I was focusing on the fix and flip model, and I was first deciding that my initial goal was going to be to raise money, raise capital. I wanted to raise private money. I didn't want to do it the way that a lot of these people were teaching, which was, go find your private money and then go find a deal, and then once you have a deal, then you go market the deal, and then if it's a good deal, the money will come to you, right? It'll find you, and somehow that didn't square up in my mind. And I did go through the process. I did call a bunch of hard money lenders. I did look a bunch of hard money lenders up online and got their guidelines, and I went through more than 80 of them, and I realized that I really don't want to go down that path, and I'm going to have the conviction and belief that I can raise private money. I can do these things with cash, and so that's what I did. And the way that I felt I was adding value to my investors or my would-be investors at the time was because I had a system, I had a program, and a way to calculate these deals and figure them out to where it was a good investment. It was safe. We could all and let me scratch that. I don't want to say safe, but it was something that I could secure against equitable real estate, that I could give a lien position. I could explain how the numbers work out and why it was in their favor, and they could get a better return that they were getting currently in the stock market or in their mutual funds or CDs or wherever they have their money. My first investor, he had his money invested in the stock market through Charles Schwab, and so he was doing pretty decent, but he wanted to diversify and potentially get some better returns, and so that's what we did for him. And then what I ended up doing, obviously, once I found the money, I got the proper proof of funds, and I started submitting my offers. And I wasn't having the best of luck getting offers accepted here real locally to me. So obviously I kept networking, because we all understand that your net worth is equally proportionate to your network. So we've been big preachers and proponents of that from day one. So I was networking, connecting with people, and I heard of somebody that had just gotten 5 properties under contract. I'm like, man, like that person was at the right place at the right time, in the right market, with the right people, doing something right. And so I reached out to them and started kind of talking to them and picking their brain and not being too intrusive, but still asking some of the questions and about that market. And there was something special about that market, because it was this kind of some rural land, and it's in San Diego County, a little place called Ramona, and it's kind of deserty, but apparently there was deals going on there. So it got to a point where I asked her to send me a couple of the deals to look at, because maybe I could help. And so she sent them to me, and I reviewed them, and then I got back to her and I said, hey, why don't you rerun those numbers using all cash? And so she was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So she went ahead and sent me the properties using all cash. And the way that I found to add value to her was, look, how about I bring all the money, we forget about the hard money lenders, and then we just do these deals cash, and we joint venture and split the profits. And that sounded pretty good to her, and it sounded pretty good to me. So we went down that path, and next thing you know, we had a couple of properties locked up, and a couple of projects started. I had managed to raise a little over $500,000 in cash, and that was enough for acquisitions, repairs, holding costs, and everything else in order to get those projects done. So that is how I got started. That is how I found a way to add value to others, and before going out there and expecting to receive value myself. So that's always what I tell people. How are you? What are you doing to add value to others? The next thing that I did was I realized when I was first starting, I had a difficult time getting a proof of funds because nobody wanted to give it to me. They didn't want to lend me money and so forth, especially people within the group that went through my same training, because nobody wanted to be my guinea pig. And I didn't know about these other online resources that there were and I suppose are out there still. And so I couldn't submit my offers until I actually found the cash and got the legitimate proof of funds and started doing it that way. So I found a way to be able to provide a solid proof of funds to other new investors or newer investors, and drove on that way. And again, because you don't have to wait until you've reached a certain pinnacle in order to be able to start giving back. Every step that you take, everything that you learn, everything that you become good at, as soon as you've crossed that path, you can start giving back to other people. Now, granted, it's not going to make you an expert in that specific thing, but you have a way to give back in some shape or form, and I think that you have to have that in the forefront of your mind. So again, what are the four ways, or at least the four ways that we're going to discuss tonight, to add value to other people? First thing is that you truly have to value people. Like, what a novel concept, right? You truly have to you truly have to value people in general, okay, in order to be able to add value to them. And the reason you have to do that is because otherwise, you may just look to manipulate them or to take advantage of them. And every single one of you who's listening to this right now has known or has met or has had experience with a person who has ulterior motives, right? You know, a person who has an agenda. They're smooth talkers. They're good to you. They're kind of, smile across their teeth or whatever the expression is. But either not immediately, but you find out eventually that they're not genuine. That the only reason that they're being nice, the only reason that they're trying to add something to the conversation or to that person or to that situation is because they have an ulterior motive. They have a way that they want to leverage off of your time, your money, your experience. They want to get something out of you, and it's pretty easy to tell a lot of those people, to weed them out. Now, some of the better people, you don't know, you don't understand. They've been doing it for so long and taking advantage of people for so long that you can't necessarily see it right away. But if you're one of those people, I will contend that you can't truly add value to other people until you first learn to truly value other people. Because when you value other people, you're looking for their best interest. You keep their best interests in mind. You're genuinely want to help other people, and if for anybody that's been around us for any period of time, seen what we do, see what we offer, and everything else, I think you can see that's where our hearts are. That's why we do all these free webinars and calls and time and everything else, and meet people in person, go to events, and all these different things, because we truly value people and we want to add value to others, and we want good people around us, because it's so important to have those good people around you. You need a good support group. Your family, of course, but you need a good core support group of people around you, that will add value to you, because we need it back too. That's how we get our energy and focus and all those different things. So add value to other people first. Keep other people in mind. Go by the what can I do for you first mentality, and I guarantee you that value will come back to you. All right, the next thing is you and I mean, and these all kind of tie into each other, because obviously once you value people, then you actually take the time to understand and relate to what they value. Because how can you really add value to others if you don't understand what it is that they value? So you have to take the time to really develop that relationship. You have to take the time to care, to know about them, to talk, to listen, right? You have to have conversations where there's actually a conversation taking place, and in order for that to happen, you have to listen. You have to ask questions and then be quiet. Understand where those people are coming from, what their needs are, what their skill sets are, what their talents are, what their passions are, and really what kind of personality they have. And are they a visual person, an audible person, a kinesthetic person? So how do those people respond to information into the world around them, so that you can understand what it is that they value, what it is that they're trying to accomplish, what is important to that person outside of just business, or whatever it is, however you're engaging that relationship or the new friendship. Find out what other people value. Don't be so quick to speak and to just tell everybody your elevator speech, and then move on. Okay, that's not how you truly value people and add value to others, is by by the speed dating method. Okay, you have to take the time to actually communicate with people and develop relationships, because that takes time. And whether you're on a call with a seller, or you're talking to your significant other, or you're having a new coworker at work, or your boss, or it doesn't matter. I mean, people are people, and we're in a business of people. And I can't stand the fact that people say, "Hey, man, that's nothing personal. It's business," when they're gonna stab you in the back, or when they just got done doing it, because we are people. So everything is personal. Of course, it's personal, and I am gonna take it personally, because I'm a person. I have feelings. I value certain things, and if I give you of myself, and I'm gonna trust first until you give me a reason not to, and then when you give me a reason not to, well, yeah, guess what? That hurts. It's a betrayal, and that's just me. But I think a lot of people are wired that way, and so figure out what it is that other people value, and then you'll be more prepped, or prone to be able to add value to those other people. Okay, not rocket science here, guys. It's just things that sometimes I guess we don't really think about and keep in the forefront of our minds. So the third way that we can add value to other people is by making ourselves more valuable. And this is key. And I can't tell you how true this is. I've seen a lot of people live it. That's one of my goals that I live on a daily and weekly basis. Is you have to make yourself more valuable. Whether you're at work, whether you're starting a club of some kind, or maybe you're doing a RIA club, maybe you have a talk show, maybe I don't know what it is that you're doing. You're networking with other people. You want to become a leader in whatever field that you're in. You have to make yourself more valuable, because as you continue to grow and to learn, you become more valuable. You'll be able to add value to others on a continual basis as you continue to make yourself more valuable. Now, how do you do that? How do you make yourself more valuable? And I contend that the number one way to do that, and one of the things that I focus on, is reading. Okay, leaders are readers, and the top 1% of the population that control 99% of the wealth are reported to read over 60 books a year. And that is an education, just right there. I mean, forget about, I mean, obviously college and everything else, but continual education beyond those things, or even if you never went to college, because there's a lot of extremely rich people, the new rich, that didn't necessarily go to college, that didn't graduate. They chose their own path. But you know what? People listen to audiobooks in their cars instead of music. They listen to other motivational and educational and inspirational things, and they're constantly feeding their mind with those things instead of just the garbage that's out there, the garbage that's on TV, the garbage that's on really in many music stations, and in much of music out there. At least the pop culture and all that kind of stuff. They're not feeding your brain with things that they're gonna improve you and make you more valuable. If you're in a specific job or in a specific field, there are going to be things that you can go after to become the best. You have to have that mindset of, I am the best. I love my work. I am the best. I'm going to be the best. And what you're striving for here is the top 10%. You don't have to be the number one in the world. Now, that's a good goal. It could be a valiant goal. But if that's an overwhelming goal for you, you don't have to do that. Just the top 10%. And whatever it is that you're doing, whatever industry that you're in right now, and whatever job you hold, whatever position you're in, whatever position you aspire to. Because maybe you're not in the position that you want to be in right now. So figure out what it is that that position or that place or that entrepreneurial pursuit holds for you, and learn. Dive into it. See who you can talk to. See what books you can read on the subject. See what videos you can find. See what audio you can find. And feed your mind with all those things so that you become more valuable in those areas. Because the more valuable you make yourself, the more value you can add to other people around you. And that's one way that I find, my ideas for the webinars that I'm going to have. We do this on a weekly basis. I constantly have to keep coming up with ideas and content and different things, and it's through kind of plugging into the different things that I've read over, say the course of the last couple of years that have stuck out. Because when I read things, I highlight, I dog ear, I make notes. When I listen to things, I also make notes. I have notebooks full of notes and different things from different things that I listen to and the different things that I read. And so make that a priority. Don't just show up to work and be like, you're just going to do what you're going to do and this and that. You're never going to advance that way. And I'll also say that I'm of the opinion that all of you who working for somebody else, who maybe don't like it, maybe want to do something else, you gotta consider the fact that you are already self-employed. Okay, you might be working in corporate America, you might have a boss, you might have all that kind of stuff, but it's your own efforts, it's your own performance that dictates your own future and your own outcome and your own income and your own advancement and your own happiness and all those different things. Because if you just show up to work and you're just like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm gonna punch in, I'm not really into this, so I'm just gonna get through the day, I'm gonna get through the week, I'm gonna get my paycheck, and I'm gonna do it all over again next week, and wonder why you're stuck where you are. How are you ever gonna move ahead, whether it's in that job or away from it, if you're not constantly working to be the best? And I'm not saying it's easy, guys, okay, because I've been in that position, I've been in that place where it's just a very uncomfortable place to be in. Don't want to be here, don't want to work here. These circumstances aren't right, but I have responsibilities and I have things to take care of. But I know that my performance suffered during that period of time. And if I had somebody like me now, realizing that and telling me that, I'd be like, man, that makes a lot of sense to me. I could have and I should have just strived to go through it and come out of it and just be the best that I can be. And that's what I focus on now. So as you continually focus on making yourself more valuable through self-study, through just get away from the fiction reading, okay? Focus on things that are going to educate you and expand your mind in either a specific field that you're in or as an entrepreneurship in general. Okay, so things like proper effective communication and sales and closing and how to improve your reading skills and your memory and all those different things. Because no matter what you do, all those things will benefit you in life and apply to any area in your life that you pursue, and will make you more effective as you continually work towards peak performance. All right. And the fourth thing is we can add value to other people when we focus on the things that God values. And you may have never heard anybody say that before, and maybe you have. And regardless of what your beliefs are, and I'm not here to really expand on one belief or another or anything else. The fact of the matter is that what God teaches is to love other people, and how you treat others as you would want to be treated, and things like integrity and loyalty and love and all the goodness that comes from within us, that we have within us, if we choose to focus on those things. And you can kind of pretty much broad stroke the deal. It doesn't matter, like I said, where your viewpoints or beliefs are in here. Is I'm sure most people can agree that those are good values to operate under, or operate by, and focus on those things, follow those things, so that you are better at adding value to other people. So those are my four ways to add value to other people. Obviously, there are many, many, many more ways that you can do that, and you can practice those things on a regular basis, on a daily basis, with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers, everything else. And I'm gonna leave you with a few takeaways here as well. Now, I picked these because I think they're very applicable, because we're prone to behave a certain way. So the first takeaway that I want to leave you with is, don't criticize, condemn, or complain ever. Don't be that person that people know for criticizing or condemning or complaining, regardless of your situation. And sometimes, yeah, we're faced with very difficult situations, tough situations. The reality is that, nobody likes somebody who's always criticizing others. Nobody likes somebody who condemns others for their mistakes or actions, when everybody's human. Nobody likes people who complain all the time about the different things that are going on around them. So I would encourage you to refrain from doing those things. Don't criticize people. Help them. Don't condemn other people. Relate to them, and don't complain about what you're doing, because it's a repellent. Okay, and what you're wanting to do is grow your relationships, grow your connections, grow the support, the people who are going to support you, and who want to connect with you. And when you're always complaining about different things, and you all know somebody or people who are like that, um, it acts as a repellent. It's like, man, you might feel sorry for them or whatever, but you don't want to be around that kind of person. You want to be around people who are positive. You want to be around people who always look on the bright side of things, because everybody has things that they're going through. Everybody has things that they could complain about, but it makes there's no point in it, right? Because all it does is it brings you down personally, and then it's going to bring everybody else down around you, and then those people are going to want to be around you. You want to be a positive person. So if you are having a crappy day, as we all do, and somebody asks you, you can still twist it. You can say stuff like, you know what, I'm working on making this a better day, or I'm working on feeling much better. Things like that. So it's still positive. You still have, you're not lying to yourself or others by saying, hey, yeah, it's a great day, when you know you're having a lousy day. But it also doesn't bring you down. It's all about the way that you choose your words, and the way that you speak to other people. And you'll definitely develop more friends if you refrain from criticizing, condemning, or complaining. Okay. The second takeaway that I want to leave you guys with is to give honest and sincere appreciation. And this is something that I think we can all use a little bit of work on as well. And just look at the people around you. Look at your significant other, your coworkers, your boss, your employees, the people who help you in your life, your other family members. How often do we pass up the opportunity to say something nice, to be appreciative of the things that people do for us, or just the fact that they're there, or just the fact that they're part of our lives? And be honest. Don't be forceful. Develop a spirit within you that is sincere and appreciative of what other people do. And I guarantee you, if you practice this, and I challenge you to prove me wrong, if you practice this, and you're giving honest and sincere appreciation to the various people that you come in contact with, it will benefit you. It will make you feel better. It will give you more energy, and it will also inspire others to be better to you, and to be helpful. And again, that value just ends up coming back to you. And the third thing is, find a way, in the way that you speak to people, in the way that you interact with other people, in the way that you present yourself to others, to arouse in the other person an eager want, an excitement for whatever it is that you either have to offer, or just your your presence, or being around you, or hearing what you have to say, or being involved in the different things that you have to do, or in your projects, or whatever it is. Like we have a deal that came across our desk. It's a 244 unit apartment building, and it needs about $800,000 in repair. It's about what was it? It was about $700,000 for the purchase price, et cetera, et cetera. The point I'm making here is that I've never done a large commercial residential unit like that, but it's definitely an opportunity. And because I go out there and I connect with people and I add value to other people, I know there are people that I can call to get advice on something like that, to get even partners on something like that, to get money, to get do joint ventures, to enable me to participate in things like that I wouldn't be able to have if I didn't know how to arise in other people an eager want and excitement to do things together. Because we all do things with people that we know, like, and trust. And if you're constantly criticizing, condemning, or complaining, people aren't going to like you very much, and in many cases, they're not going to trust you. If you never give appreciation to anybody, well, same thing. You're going to have those barriers and those walls, because people don't become your closer friends or associates when you never appreciate anything that they do. And if you don't know how to arouse that excitement and that eager want in other people, because you can't get to that place where they consider you a friend or somebody that they want to be around, well, then it just becomes more difficult to be able to get those things done. So those are the three takeaways that I will leave you with. I hope it was a benefit and kind of an eye opener for a lot of you guys. So here are some of our links, and just think about if you have any questions before we get off of this call. I'd be happy to just go into things and expand. I know it's not necessarily a question and answer type of deal, but even if you want to just kind of talk about some experiences that you've had, feel free to either raise your hand, or you can email me as well, or connect with me on Facebook. And our website is c2cria.com, where you can register for all our other webinars. You can catch all our current and previous podcasts, every bird dog call that I've done, the success series calls that I do, that Pete does, his journey to success, all of our previous radio shows. I mean, we have so many podcasts on there, as well as tons and tons of free and valuable information that you can find on there, our calendar of events, etc. Just check out the website, c2cria.com, and connect with us there. You can also see all our previous radio show guests, because you might want to connect with one of them. They might have something of value to offer you. Connect with me on YouTube, youtube.com/Ivan Oberon. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Ivan Oberon. And of course, you can always email me at Ivan, IVAN, at c2creia.com. That's Ivan at c2cria.com. All right, guys, that is my presentation for tonight. I know that we had to cut it short because I'm very excited to go see my daughter's performance and to have some dinner and just relax finally at the end of a long day, but fairly fruitful and productive. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and this has been of value to you. Feel free to go to our website and share the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, tell others about it if you found value in this. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this evening, and we will catch you next week. Until then, this is Ivan Oberon with Coast to Coast RIA, and you've been listening to Ivan Oberon's Success Series.